Hi. Hi, guys. Welcome to Lovely J Podcast. What y'all guys been up to? You can always hit me up in the chat anytime you want to. Um, I'm just getting off from work. Y'all know I be working doing the TikTok shop and affiliate thing. I got some new videos up, so if y'all want to go check them out, go ahead at Jamie the Advocate. Right now, I'm going to tell you though, I'm hungry. I haven't ate all day except a few cookies and some hot fries. But I was just I started Manjaro 10 today. I was supposed to start yesterday, but I gotta locate that shot. I left it laying out and I got to find where it's at. Anyways, what I'm gonna cook is some mac and cheese and open up a can of chicken. I might saute that chicken with some onions. But y'all, it's been a day. I ain't even gonna lie. I'm tired, and at the same time, I'm thankful. I'm thankful. And I don't know what's going on with my eyes. So you hear me going like this is because I don't know if it's allergies or what, but something has been turning my eye up for the last 2 days. And I pray it's not them things again. Anyways, I have been following the Aunt D story on TikTok today. And that is so heartbreaking. Now, I'm going to tell you, I don't like her content. I started out liking her content, and then I started noticing some things she was doing that I didn't like. So there's certain parts of her content that I do not like. Whenever she's showing the girls and things and they don't want to be seen, well, okay, so that's just that. But I would never wish anything on anybody like what she went through today. She was coming home from work and saw her son's car by the bridge, and her son had sent text messages to everyone he loved, letting them know how thankful he was for them, and I guess it was like a final goodbye to them because he ended up unaliving himself by jumping in the river. It's got to be a river. It looks like a river. He did that, and the whole time she's on live, really looking like in shock and in disbelief. And people are saying, well, it's your son and you're on live. How can you be on live when something like that is going on? It's easy to judge when you're looking from the outside. Y'all, I'm looking for my stuff, what I want to cook. It's easy to judge somebody when it's not you. But anyway, it triggered me in a way. And those triggers are not good. They are not good. And I've had to fight that all day long because I remember going through a similar situation that didn't turn out like hers did, thank God. And just really hating that hers turned out like that. But you don't never know how you respond until it happens to you. When I was going through my little ordeals, I was running to social media. Oh, I do got a can of chili here. I might make chili mac and cheese. I was running to social media because it felt like I was just trying to get anybody to hear me that would hear me. Is there somebody out there that understands what I'm going through? That's what I was basically trying to project out there in the atmosphere. Somebody tell me things are going to be all right. Somebody let me know that God is listening. I believed heavenly, faithfully in God, but I still wanted there go that. I still wanted the physical connection of people. Well, I didn't get that, and I got it from some people, and other people just brushed me off as if they knew I was going to be blacklisted a few years later. I was brushed off by a lot of people like ministers and preachers. And to this day, I have recovered how I feel about them. And the truth is, I had to realize that they are human too. And at the same time, they're going through their own battles. And they made sure that they kept putting it public about the battles that they have and that they go through. And it's just, when you in a type of situation like that, and you don't have just one child going off, but you have all your children going off at the same time, and you're one person, and you're looking for family to step in, but family really can't. Family can be there, but really because you know them, you want to hear what you want to hear from somebody else. Because you already know family, you know what they're about. So sometimes that can block the message that you're supposed to get because the messenger is wrong. And that's why people go on social media sometimes when these traumatic events happen, because they want to hear what they need to hear from somebody else as confirmation that things are going to be all right, that you can get through this, and that, I hear you. I hear your pain. I hear you screaming. I hear you. I see it in your eyes. They want to hear all of that because it's details to what they're going through, and they wants to know, do anybody relate to it? Now, my mental health world is her TikTok account, and on there, that's why I started watching, because she was always talking about PTSD at first when it first started off, but then she started bringing her girls in, and her son's supposed to be the manager. I think his name is Chris. And the girls started being the majority of who she talked about. And, because people did fall in love with the girls. They fell in love with Shay and Bria. I did too. But then it just started feeling like, and I'm just expressing myself. This is my opinion. It just started feeling like she was marketing them for the hype. Like she was getting hyped out off of, the people. The more people was interested in them, she was getting excited about it, because I wouldn't say necessarily over the money. I just say because people were finally taking interest. That's what it looked like to me. I don't think it was about the money. I think it was just that she was finally getting that attention that she felt like she deserved, because her daughters cannot give her emotional attention back. They cannot give her the affection back that she's looking for, because they're autistic. And so a lot of times they don't feel. They just put out there what they need to put out there. Anyways, today, that was, I started to turn my phone off. It got so bad that every channel I was going on, I'm strolling through TikTok, just strolling to see what's new out there. But every time I got somewhere, it was about Aunt D and what's going on with her now. They said they did recover a body, and the body has to be identified, and that's just heartbreaking, because she got to deal with her son, and she got to deal with the backlash of going to social media for comfort and support. And there was one comment that just stood out to me. It basically just said, during this time, Aunt D do thank y'all, her family. So she's coming to y'all. Be kind, be nice to her, be easy on her. Now that did stand out to me, because I wish people would understand that social media makes it makes real life fiction. Like it's a fairy tale. Like you can have anything you want on social media. You can act like a movie star. You can act like a celebrity. You can be all this and that on social media. But then when it really comes down to it and you get off the phone, it's back to reality of who you are, what you have, and what you're dealing with and what you're going through. Because once you get off of that net, you now have to look at you. And that's why sometimes people stay on there all day, all night. They don't want to see themselves. I was like that when I was going through my little traumatic experiences. I was just hoping somebody would hear me. And I think that's the point where she's at, just hoping that somebody would hear her and that they would step up for her. And people don't understand how important that is right now, is to just chill out. Just step back. You know, just... I'm sorry, y'all. How did this get in here? I'm sorry, y'all. Something caught my eye and I had to get it. I'm looking for something to clean this pan with. I don't have a sink yet, so... yeah, that part. But it's heartbreaking. And I feel that. I feel that. I hate that. Or, you know what? Sometimes I just don't know about these. Y'all give me a second. Give me a second. I'm trying to see if I'm still on here talking. I need to just fully charge up these microphones and this thing that comes with it. Testing, testing. Okay, so it's on there. And it's doing what it needs to do now, hopefully. But anyways, now ain't definitely not the time to be trying to go in on her. I mean, because now people really need to just look out for her now. Her and, the girls gonna have support. There's people around the world that will step up for them. There's people around the world that will step up for her. But the only thing about her, she's so independent. And she probably done been through so much in her life that she don't trust nobody to help her. I mean, that's the reality of most bruised black women. We've been through something so bad, we don't trust nobody like that. Don't hate us because we don't trust you. Don't take it personal if you have good intentions and we don't trust you. It's not you. It's the life that we have lived for so long to protect ourselves, to protect our children to this day. Even though I don't like some things that I be seeing, but to this day, I would still do what I had to do for my children. I still would, step up in those areas. I would step up with caution now. I mean, now that I know what I know, how sick it can make you, definitely there would be caution that I would step up with. Oh, what am I doing? I'm doing the most. Let me do this. Try to clean this other pan because I'm going to saute my protein. I'm so thirsty. But yeah, go easy on them because, I mean, that's a lot. It's just some mean, grumpy people out here too. They be happy to see others going through. I didn't realize I was disliked as much as I was. It would be 4 years later when I found out that the ones I was going to, and I mean, I was going to these people faithfully, telling them all my business, asking them for prayer, telling them what was going on in my family with certain situations. Yeah, I'm sorry, but I need that drink of water. Whew, I wish y'all could see me right now. My body was ready for that. Okay, get back to it. I feel like I'm rushing and I need to slow down. I told y'all that whole situation, it did something to me. I wouldn't say I've had flashbacks, but I've had thoughts of that day that I experienced. And I can't explain that to nobody but God. There are people out here, like I said, that I was going to. I mean, I would run to these people faithfully, telling them what was going on in my life. I didn't know they was informants. I didn't know so many pastors chose government over. They chose government over ministry. I didn't know there was such a thing. I want you to think about what I just said. Government over ministry. There's going to come a time in your life when you're going to have to choose God or you're going to have to choose the government. Yes, yes, Jesus, Jessica must be thinking about me, my daughter. Yes, Jesus sat with the tax collectors and all that. But there came a time when they had to make a decision. Whose side were they leaning on? And that's how it is now. We see, the amount of black programs that's out here for people with mental health. They're only existing, some of them is only existing so they can inform the sheriff department where you at, so that they can write up papers on you, so they can have you committed to build up these institutions that they're building around for mental health people. Instead of coming out to the communities and treating them, they rather build prisons. They rather build prisons than to put some real people out there. Pull these people off the informant lines. Take that away from them. They shouldn't have to work being an informant trying to make a living. And that's why some of them are only doing it because they don't have that much money. They need more money. That's why they're doing it. It's interesting to them. Some people are only doing it out of spite. Some people are doing it because they're narcissistic. But when we look at the amount of prisons that are built out here, and there's funding going to prison right now. What if the funding really went to the children of today to help them get farther ahead, to help them put role models in their life to show them how they can be successful, and they don't have to turn to drugs. They don't have to turn to the streets. But there are some real ministers of God, men and women, and even children who are willing to help them. But see, people are scared of ministry these days. They scared because, you might not get physically your head cut off, but, you do get cut. You get isolated, you get persecuted. And today, people, if you're weak-minded, you don't want to be persecuted. You don't want to be on the opposing side. You don't want to be caught, around. It reminds me of Peter, when the crow crowed 3 times, and here's Jesus telling him, oh yeah, you're going to betray me. Yeah, you're going to turn on me. And sure enough, that crow crowed 3 times, and he did just what Jesus said. He turned on him. That's the type of situations that people are being put into, and that's why they choose to be informants versus be the real help that child or mother or son or daughter needs. And with them taking all this stuff away from families, like the food stamps, raising the age Not raising the age. It's not raising the age, but what is it? What is it? I'm trying to think, y'all, and my mind is all over the place. It's not raising the age, no. But they're trying to make the dependents only be up to 7 years old. Now, you know what they're doing. They're trying to make some person mad. It ain't got to be a black person. It could be a white, Hispanic person. They're trying to upset people so that they go out here and hurt people. So that they go hurt people and start robbing and stealing. That's why he want to open up Alcatraz. He want to open that up so bad. So he can look like he's the hero of the United States. When the truth is, he's really the failure. He's the beginning of the fall of the great United States of America. That's who we were before. People really depended on us. People don't depend on the United States no more. No, they don't. Where is my knife? Yeah, they don't depend on the United States anymore. United States messed that up. United States does not even take care of their own citizens. Instead, they hire other citizens to spy on other citizens. And then they play like they love God, but God is love. God sent some spies out, but they were nothing like these spies. He sent some out. Caleb and I forgot the other one's name, but he sent them out. Ooh. Okay. Tell me you hot grease without letting me know it. I'm sauteing some onion and this chicken meat. Canned chicken with macaroni. Ooh. Let's see. I need to pour that in there. But anyways, I pray that we get some real God-fearing people to help those with mental health issues. It's time. In 2022, they sent me to mental health. Well, they didn't send me. I volunteered to go. At the time, I volunteered to go to clear my name. And I'm telling this story so nobody don't go out here thinking that if you go to mental health that it's going to clear your name. Because it doesn't. Okay, I can sit down a little bit now. Y'all standing up, moving around. That's why I sounded winded because I am a little winded. So in 2022, the doctor said, well, just going to therapy, going back to therapy. Just told me that. And I said, okay, I'll go back to therapy. Saying, well, something must be off then if you're seeing something and other people aren't seeing what you're seeing. If other people can't confirm what you're saying, then something is wrong and you need to go back to therapy. So I volunteered to go back to therapy. I went to therapy and the guy looked at me and he was like, I don't even know why you're here. Why are you here? You must be here just to get refills on your medicine because there's nothing wrong with you. That's what the guy at therapy told me. I said, but I am scared. That's what I told him. I said, I am scared. I haven't used the bathroom properly in about 3 or 4 weeks because of the fear that I have that someone's in my house. Because at the time, I don't know how they was doing it, but someone was coming in and out. They still come in and out, but I just can't let it hit me to that part. But at this specific time, it would be like I could go to my back room to use the bathroom. And then, I would come back and things would be moved out of place. And I would hear the door shut. That's what would get me. And that's why I stopped, using the bathroom all the way, because the bathroom is way back there in my living room, way in here. But I would hear the door shut and I could feel the vibration of the door shut because I'm sensitive like that. Sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes I am sensitive like that where I feel vibrations. And so this particular day that scared me was I heard that door. I heard the door shut and I jumped out the commode and I ran in here to see who it was. And they left the door. They didn't even, it was shut, but it had bounced back open because I got my door raggedy. That's why I'm working TikTok. I'm trying to get my home fixed, my doors fixed, all of that. But okay, let's keep going. It scared me so bad. If I had to do number 2, I just let enough out that my stomach would feel at ease and that it wouldn't be pushing out on its own. That's how fearful I was at that time about when someone was coming in my house. So I told the therapist that, and he said, well, if somebody was coming in your house, then that's not anxiety. That's just genuine fear. That's a healthy anxiety, because you have a reason and it's confirmed that someone's been in your house. And I have a confirming where the officer did say, he said, do you not hear that somebody's in your house? I said, who's in my house? He said, somebody's in your house. And then he told me, oh, you don't want to mess with these people because these people are really bad. You don't want to get on their nerves. And I said, okay, but I'm going to just have to stay with faith in God. That's how I was like that. And he was right. He heard the people in my house too. Will he ever stand and testify that? No, because I'm on a blacklist. How that gonna make him look? Going against his brothers when a majority of them are, a majority of them do not, they hear you, they feel you, and some of them feel bad for what you're going through, and some of them are like, just another nigga. Excuse the language, but just another one, That's how it is. That's real talk. And that's what basically one said. And that's why today I've been kind of teary-eyed and, just, I'm not going to say reliving what happened. What I'm experiencing today is not the same thing as PTSD. I'm just reminiscing on what happened. That's the only way I can say it, reminiscing on what happened back then. And not so much the part of what happened, but the biggest part for me was what the officer said after things happened. So that's the part that gets me. But yeah, I'm just about through cooking. I'm going to let this simmer down a little bit and stick together. I'm going to let it cook slowly. This meat here is already done. Anyways, it's what was said to me that triggered me back then. We would call a sack of rats on acid instead of a mother trying to protect her children. That was horrible. Horrible. I stood up and I went against it. I've been paying the price for standing up for things like that, for being a mental health advocate. If you're going to do this, just know that it's more ministry It's more, if you do it the right way, it's more ministry than it is textbook. I've been doing this now for almost 14, 15 years. Well, actually all my life, but when I really started clocking and dating it, it's been about 14, 15 years. But advocating for others is ministry. And that's why those who advocate are hated. That's why they get locked up so fast, persecuted, blacklisted. Nobody wants to be around you because you're saying that your God is going to heal this person, heal that person, or you're standing up for this person, that person. Yeah, I am. And that's why they come after us. Because we're trying to protect the next generation. Because it's not even about us. It's about loving people enough to preserve and protect for the next generation. It has nothing to do with me wanting a bigger house or a nicer house or what I live in, what I drive. It has nothing to do with that. What church I attend, it has nothing to do with that. It's about doing the right thing in God's eyesight and when you think he's not looking or listening. But today, it's hard to trust ministers, pastors, apostles, bishops, because they've all conformed to the world. Not all of them. I got to be careful of my choice of words. But I'm so used to saying all because everyone I met in the last 3 years was part of the program that blacklisted me. So that's why I say all, but I guess there really are some people who really don't. The nicest people I had, though, they weren't black. They were white. That's why I'm not racist or anything. The nicest people I had to me during these last 3 years, they weren't even family. They were white people. They was a few white people who was like, well, screw it. They could have did what they were told to do as the community watch people, but he's like, no, this is a real person. I'm going to treat her with respect and dignity. I'm not going to do, what we're supposed to do. And they treated me right. However, there were some churches that I go to. Now, keep in mind, now the church is built up on mental health issues. If you didn't know, now you know. Because the church is the place for the sick. And who's sick? The lunatics. The lunatics are sick. The sociopaths are sick. Those with narcissistic personality disorder, they're sick. Now, these are the people that's supposed to be in the church getting the help. But what's ending up happening is these are the people that have squirmed their way in the church, and now they're the leaders before they get the help. So this is what we're looking at. But it was just one church I used to go to, and I used to get food from that church. But then I found out them people were doing something to that food. That food would not, like, I get it, and it rot. If I leave and go away from home, it rot that night. I mean, it was horrible, the things they were giving me in that food box. Some of it looked like something that dogs wouldn't even eat. And if they give me one good piece of meat, they made sure that they turned the cupcakes upside down, or they would have pieces of bread, one piece of bread laying this way. You could tell they opened it and played with it. That's what I'm getting at. You could tell that the food was played with, that it was tampered with. You would have odd shaped vegetables, fruits and vegetables. Like you might get a cucumber shaped like a thing, It was just so much with that. I could talk for hours on that, but I'm not, because I am hungry. And mental health is serious. It's serious. I know that it's serious enough that even if you don't understand the Bible, read it. If you don't understand what you're reading, keep reading. Keep reading. Please don't give up on yourself. I tried to read the Bible several times. More than several times. when I was on drugs, when I was an alcoholic. And I thought just because I was going through a really, really bad time, I was going to be able to understand it then. But I still didn't understand it. But then one day I had situations happen. And all of a sudden, these scriptures were floating up out of me. How to live, how to handle the situation. So read it. Even if you don't understand it, read it. Pray to God to help you understand it. Don't go in this thing trying to be perfect. You're not perfect. You got to let God perfect what's in you. What's from Him and perfect it in you. He's got to do that. But you got to start somewhere. And I'm just talking to those who be like, I don't understand what the Bible's saying. I didn't either. I didn't understand what it was saying. I read it, read over it for a few years, a long time. I think I was 12 years old when I started reading the Bible. And I still haven't read the entire Bible. I haven't read the entire Bible. But things I did read when I was 12 was stuff like Jesus was saying, come unto me. And those were things that I needed in my moment of despair. Those were comforting words that helped me. Do not be afraid. My brain and my heart just picked up little pieces of the words. And then when I really got back into the church, then I was able to, apply the whole entire thing. Because now I could go back and say, well, okay, let me study this scripture, or let me just study this scripture by itself, or a chapter. Sometimes I didn't understand nothing but the scripture. I couldn't understand the entire chapter at that moment. But then, the more they started doing on Google and they started having these AIs come out, it helped me grasp what the Bible was saying and what it was meaning in a way that I wasn't leaning to my own understanding, because that can happen too. If you just starting out reading the Bible and you start studying by yourself and you already going through some mental health challenges, but if you don't get some sound doctrine, you're going to be running around telling people stuff and it's going to be like, yeah, you weird. Or, you're going to be living off of the old laws instead of the law of love. The commandment of love, So if you got mental health issues going on, depression, schizophrenia, bipolar, anxiety, personality disorders, narcissists, whatever you're going through, there's nothing that hasn't been done under the sun. There's nothing new here. Go to the Bible, you will read all about it. Infidelity, people cheating on you, parents not loving you, don't care about you, don't want you. How about your parents do love you and care for you, but you don't care for them, you being rebellious. There's so much in the Bible. Y'all get excited talking about it. And that's how I can love and forgive people, because you got to learn how to forgive. Holding on to things that people done to you make you dark and black. Now, if you got things that you talk about, like I'm talking about tonight, that can help the next person, then that's good. That's a good hold, because you're not using it to have self-pity or to hold something still against that person who did it to you, but you're using it so that God can get the glory out of it. Then, yeah, that's a big difference. But yeah. All right, y'all. I'm not going to be on here long. I don't know. I probably done been on here long. I feel like I already been on here an hour. But I was just getting off from work and I decided to come in and talk a little bit while I was fixing me something to eat. Yeah, I've been on here like 40 minutes. But y'all, send your prayers up for anybody and everybody that's going through mental health illnesses, and their caregivers, and send your prayers up for those who are being abused by people who have mental health issues, who just refuse to get treatment. We're going to have to talk about all this one day, because it's some people that have it, they refuse to get treatment because of what they've heard other people say. I used to be like that. I'll tell you the story about it one day. I used to be like that. I hated therapy because the therapist did not believe me when I was a child what I told him was happening. So I hated therapy. But then I got older and I got tired of being scared. If you get sick and tired of having anxiety and panic attacks and you really sure enough tired, you'll go do the work to make it stop. You do what you got to do to make it stop. Okay, y'all. Peace, love, and happiness till the next time. And keep Mama D Aunt D. Have I been calling her Mama D all this time? Oh, I hope not. But her name is Aunt D on social media. She on Facebook and TikTok. Older lady. Well, she ain't that old. We about the same age. What am I talking about? We're not old. But go check her out. Keep her in your prayers. And, yeah. That's about it. All right, y'all. Peace, love, and happiness.